5 on your side at 10 starts now.
The northern lights have been more elusive tonight, but the mild weather is hanging around. What you need to know as you make your weekend plans.
Promoting literacy and saving schools.
We are in this together.
Tonight, we're hearing from the new leader of St. Louis Public Schools. Controlling wildlife in Wildwood. Tonight, concerns over a plan to control the deer population is overkill.
5 on your side starts now with breaking news.
And we are following multiple breaking news stories tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. We start in North St. Louis. Police were called to the Love's travel stop on North Broadway within the last 45 minutes for reports of multiple people shot. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon is there working to get new information from investigators. Brent.
Mike, Kelly, a very active scene as we speak. 5 on your side, the first news crew on scene. Let me get out of the way right now and show you what we're looking at as we speak. Several police officers, detectives, and even some witnesses standing by. Again, this is the Love's traffic stop just off of I-70. If you're familiar with the area, this is off of North Broadway across from the Super 8 Motel. Right now, officers are really focusing in on what appears to be a gray Chrysler right now, which is still on the scene. The gas station obviously closed. A security guard standing at the gate to make sure no one comes in or out. This Love's traffic stop is also attached to a Subway and a McDonald's. It would appear that they're both closed as well. I saw a few moments ago some workers standing outside, just kind of spectating. A lot of people wondering what's happening here. Again, the call came in as multiple people shot. We're awaiting word from St. Louis police right now on just how many people were shot and what their conditions might be. Another question here, what led to that possible gunfire? We're all over this one. Again, we have calls in to St. Louis police, so be sure to stay with 5 on your side as we learn more details on this developing story. For now, we're live in North City. Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
We are also following breaking news out of Washington, D.C. tonight. After 43 days, the shutdown showdown in Washington is over. Within the last 3 hours, the U.S. House approved a Senate-backed bill to end America's longest government shutdown.
And about 30 minutes ago, President Donald Trump signed it into law. The funding package keeps the government open through January 30th and restores SNAP benefits funding for another 10 months. It does not include subsidies to keep health care costs lower for millions of Americans. Sherelle Hubbard breaks down more about this crucial vote.
The yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted.
It's the beginning of the end of the longest government shutdown in history. But going into the vote, some House Democrats slammed the bill.
I think it is a raw deal for the American people.
The deal to end the shutdown includes job restoration for thousands of federal workers fired during the shutdown, back pay for furloughed workers, protections against mass federal layoffs through the end of the fiscal year, and funding SNAP benefits through the 2026 fiscal year. But it's what the bill doesn't include that is getting the most reaction, an extension of the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies, which millions of Americans rely on. They're set to expire at the end of the year.
Every person in our country has lost a loved one to cancer, and yet you would vote to deny people life-saving cancer treatment and research. Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House, and with the majority, you have chosen to enact harm to make people hungrier, poorer, sicker, and less safe.
Republicans have promised a future Senate vote on ACA subsidies. The House, though, has not committed to taking it up. After the vote, House Speaker Mike Johnson placed blame for the shutdown squarely on Democrats.
The Democrat shutdown is finally over thanks to House and Senate Republicans who stood together to get the job done. Absolutely no question in anybody's mind now that the Democrats were responsible for this.
Sherelle Hubbard, 5 on your side.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries vowed to introduce legislation to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for 3 years. Now, despite the deal, there's not an ETA on when the FAA will resume full service at airports across the country ahead of the busy Thanksgiving travel period. Tonight, the agency says flight cuts will remain at 6% instead of rising to 10% by the end of the week. Thousands of flights have been canceled as some air traffic controllers stopped showing up to work because they were overworked and not being paid.
Tonight, the Alton City Council approved a bill to move closing time for downtown bars. The council voted 5-2 to drop an ordinance that eliminates extended hours for liquor licenses. This means businesses with these licenses must now close at 1 a.m. every day instead of 2 a.m. on weekdays and 3 a.m. on weekends. The move comes after safety concerns raised by police and the community.
Tonight, the city of Wildwood held another meeting about what some call unwelcomed four-legged visitors. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend reports the big question still swirling around the community in southwest St. Louis County: what to do about all the deer.
Wednesday night, a handful of folks came here to Wildwood City Hall to talk about an ongoing problem here. This community's ever-growing deer population.
There's literally hundreds of deer sitting there, and as soon as you shoot them, they eventually infiltrate.
People in the community of about 36,000 say they've been dealing with deer for decades. Some folks say they've had enough of the animals wandering into their yards, eating their flowers. Many others tell city officials they're tired of crashing their cars into the deer.
A lot of damage, thousands of dollars of life damage.
Officials say currently deer density in Wildwood is at an unsustainable 72 deer per square mile, well above the Missouri Department of Conservation's recommended limit of 20. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is the problem?
Well, before we started working on it, I would say it was, based off the community input, it was probably at a 7 or an 8.
Between 2019 and 2023, Wildwood recorded more than 1,200 deer-related accidents.
We are averaging for the last 5 years 240 deer getting hit by cars just in Wildwood.
The city partnered with a professional wildlife management organization and brought in crews to remove and destroy some of the deer. Critics say deer culling is not the answer, but officials say the 5-year program is making progress.
2028, we hope to have it at 40 deer per square mile across 30 acres.
So if you missed tonight's meeting, don't worry. Wildwood city officials will hold another one next Thursday online. You can find that information on KSDK.com. Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Now, city officials say a survey shows 70% of Wildwood's residents acknowledge there is a deer problem there, and they support the city's current program. A stunning fall from power in Velda City today. The town's former police chief and city administrator admitted he stole more than $300,000 from taxpayers. Court documents revealed Daniel Polino used the city's credit card like his personal piggy bank and funneled city funds into businesses he owned. He faces sentencing in February. The fallout from this corruption case already forced Velda City to disband its entire police department last year. The North County Police Cooperative now handles their law enforcement.
Hours from now, striking Boeing machinists will vote on the latest contract offer from the company. They have been on the picket line for 100 days now, rejecting multiple offers. The latest one includes a $6,000 ratification bonus. If accepted, workers will begin work next Monday. The union is urging members to accept. The vote is from 8 until noon tomorrow.
Just hours ago, St. Louis public school teachers met with the national president of the Teachers Union to highlight a local reading program.
It's also the first time we're hearing from the interim superintendent on reopening tornado-damaged schools. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski talked with each leader one-on-one. Laura?
Mike and Kelly, the superintendent tells me this program is already making a difference for these kids inside and outside the school and gives them the skills to overcome any challenges they might face.
I was told Alyssa. Alyssa, what you see?
Story time after school at Jefferson Elementary in St. Louis looks a bit different these days.
I love it here.
These 6 students and their parents are learning different ways to read together through the Reading Opens the World in the Lou program.
I believe that it teaches parents not only how to work with their children, but it teaches the children they have a voice.
The American Federation of Teachers donated $10,000 to the program and partnered with the St. Louis Education Fund so these students have books to take home. Parents also receive a stipend for being part of the program with their kids.
All too often, we don't read anymore. The competition to reading is our cell phones, our devices, and so we are very intentional about trying to recreate not only the skill of reading, but the love of reading.
AFT National President Randy Weingarten says more support for literacy at the state level is needed.
I would say to the powers that be in this state, if you want kids to read, stop blaming and shaming and start rolling up your sleeves, working with teachers who want to ensure that all kids in Missouri have the kind of excitement and fluency that we saw today.
Weingarten says they're using this program as an example for other schools in hopes of improving literacy rates across the country.
It's even more important in a place like St. Louis that just went through that horrible tornado and where there's still so much displacement. But schools like this one are centers of community.
St. Louis Public Schools Interim Superintendent Dr. Myra Berry says they're committed to reopening tornado-damaged schools, including Hickey and Ashland Elementaries and Soldan and Sumner High Schools.
Schools, they are the community. And our community, they want our schools open, and that's exactly what we are going to do.
They've already expanded this program to 4 other St. Louis schools and hope more will join the list as success and support grows.
Tonight, the future of St. Louis was recognized at Energizer Park.
The Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater St. Louis held its 31st annual Great Futures Gala. The night serves as the organization's largest fundraiser while honoring teens who exemplify leadership and make an impact in the community.
We serve almost 18,000 youth in this region, right? And so with this being our biggest fundraiser, these dollars go to support the mission, right? And the reality is no money, no mission.
The Youth of the Year received a $5,000 scholarship. Now to a live look at Enterprise Center, where a Thanksgiving Eve tradition in St. Louis will take place exactly 2 weeks from tonight. Today, Backstoppers received a big boost for its annual Guns and Hoses tournament. Organizers announced that a new $300,000 sponsorship was theirs with FanDuel Sportsbook. Every year, St. Louis area police and firefighters battle it out in the boxing ring to raise money for families of fallen first responders. For the first time this year, first responders from Kansas City will also participate.
Suing scammers, the big fish going after those behind the text, warning about undeliverable packages and unpaid tolls.
Kinds of good soup.
Restore and restock.
We have seen a lot of people for the first time who have never needed the Salvation Army before.
The local food pantry, devastated by fire, reopening its doors and now facing a greater need.
Rain chances, they're out of the weekend forecast, but not totally out of the 7-day, when we could see some beneficial rain to ease the dry conditions.
We're getting a new look tonight at the massive debris field caused by last week's UPS cargo plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky. NTSB investigators are still sifting through that debris, searching for clues on what may have caused the deadly crash. Officials now say all 14 victims have been positively identified. 3 of those killed were the pilots aboard the plane. 11 others, including a young child, were killed on the ground.
Tonight, Google is going after cyber thieves responsible for sending those text scams saying you owe a road toll or need to pick up a mysterious package. The lawsuit says China-based Lighthouse sells software that makes it easy to set up websites that steal people's personal information or credit card numbers after a text message directs them to the site. Google says the group has stolen between 12 million and 115 million credit cards in the U.S. alone. The Salvation Army of Jefferson County is back open tonight, nearly a year after a devastating fire right before Thanksgiving.
As 5 on your side's Tracy Hinson reports, the timing couldn't be better because the need is even greater this year.
Well, I lost my home due to the cancer diagnosis, so this whole year has been very hard.
On top of that, the government shutdown has reduced Tammy Tucker's food stamps.
And a hamburger helper coming up.
The Salvation Army of Jefferson County is filling in the gaps.
I'm shopping for myself and my son.
She's one of nearly 100 people who came through the food pantry line Wednesday morning.
Today is the first day in almost a year that we've been able to open our food pantry to the residents of Jefferson County.
About this time last year, Salvation Army of Jefferson County Director Larry Hostetler was dealing with a fire.
We had a fire last November 20th in our pantry, and it unfortunately, because of the setup of the HVAC system, affected almost the entire building.
All kinds of good soups.
Repairs have been made and Wednesday food distribution is back on.
Yeah, garden vegetable, yes.
But this year is different and not because of the repairs.
It's been a very interesting summer and fall now because we have seen a lot of people for the first time who have never needed the Salvation Army before.
Donations made reopening day of the pantry a success. He's hoping that trend continues.
We're glad that people know we're here to do this. We just want to be able to help everybody who comes to our doors, and that gets increasingly difficult.
Oh, okay.
The food they give out is important, but shopper Tammy Tucker will tell you it's not the most important thing to her.
What would I like to get? I've already got it. I've got to talk to people that I usually stay home all the time.
Tracy Hinson, 5 on Your Side.
5 on Your Side's Thanksgiving Food Drive, sponsored by Thrivent Financial.
With Thanksgiving quickly approaching and thousands of bi-state families struggling, 5 on Your Side and Thrivent are teaming up, with Operation Food Search to help our neighbors in need. Every dollar you give provides $6 in food. To donate, just scan the QR code on your screen.
Santa and Mrs. Claus flew into St. Louis Closet Company today to help launch this year's Toys for Tots campaign. All donations support the U.S. Marine Corps annual holiday drive to help families in need. There are dozens of drop-off boxes across the bi-state. They'll be out until mid-December. And just hours ago, the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree made a whistle stop at Union Station.
The 53-foot-tall red fir named Silver Bell is on a cross-country trip from Nevada to Washington, D.C.
It brings joy to everyone across the country. Everyone gets to see the tree, sign the banner, and get some photos.
Silver Bell's branches extend 16 feet wide. It will arrive at the U.S. Capitol next Friday, and it will be lit early next month.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell's here with the weather impact forecast. Definitely felt like the holiday season earlier this week, but now it's warming up, Scott.
It is. It's warming up. We're not seeing as much in the way of northern lights tonight as we saw last night. This was from Karen in North County last night. Tonight, they are visible for some of us, but it's been a little bit limited. It's not as intense as it was last night. This is an interesting satellite picture here I wanted to show you. It's from College of DuPage. It's called the nighttime physics. So what this is where you see all the pink here. They're just kind of general pink, nothing's moving. That's where the sky is clear. Where you see the darker blues or these lighter reds and fuchsia colors, that is the cloud cover that's mostly sliding by to our north and northeast. But we do have some more clouds on the way here in a little bit. So that could impact whether we will be able to see any more of the northern lights as it comes and goes tonight. The best viewing has been to our north. We're kind of on the fringes of that. Every once in a while we see what we call the BZ, the interplanetary, it's the magnetosphere that we have to deal with the Earth and the interplanetary magnetic fields. And you got to get it just the right way in order to see the northern lights. So far, it's been mostly not favorable for us. It's 45 degrees right now in St. Louis. 66 was a high today. 35 was the low. We're kind of in the same territory tomorrow. Near 40 for the low in St. Louis. 30s in the outlying areas. It's already down to 37 in Chesterfield. We'll say it's about 40 tomorrow morning in St. Louis. Winds should be calm, so we don't have problems with that early tomorrow. But we will have a little more in the way of cloud cover around the region as we go through the day tomorrow. System out west pushing on shore into California and then moving over to the Rockies. And then we'll be heading into the plains. We'll get a few clouds out of that. Eventually, over the weekend, we will have a front come through. Clearly, that comes through after Saturday when our high is 77. On Sunday, we're only at 61 for the high. Temperatures for early next week will be right around 60 degrees as well. Now, when we start looking at your weekend in particular, front comes through on Saturday. So we're ahead of it. It's breezy most of the day, mid 70s for the high. Fronts to our south and east on Sunday. So then we are cooler. Still the mix of sun and clouds. The front comes through on the dry side. Any rain we see on Monday is pretty light, if we see any at all. By Wednesday into Thursday, it looks like a better chance for seeing more widespread beneficial rain across the area. We're keeping our fingers crossed because we know how dry it is and we definitely need the rain. Not going to see any this weekend, but maybe by the end of next week.
Friday and Saturday look like summer days.
They do.
Yeah.
It really does.
Scott, thanks. Frank is next with sports.
Mike, Mizzou coach Dennis Gage should go buy a lottery ticket right now. I will explain. He had himself quite a day. That story, and there's a reason to feel good about the Blues right now. There really is. Stick around, please.
And right after this newscast, switch over to our 5+ streaming app. At 10:30, you can catch In the News. That's followed by Your Money News at 11. And there you have it at 11:30. You can watch for free on your smart TV. Just search KSDK in your app store.
My idea of a good day is a decent sportscast and a plate of pasta. Mizzou coach Dennis Gates aspires to higher things. How about his Wednesday? He finalized the best recruiting class in America in the morning, and then he pounds a team from the Big Ten at night. Gates will have a high school recruiting class of 2 5-stars and 1 4-star. Mark Mitchell was a 5-star recruit who went to Duke. He's a Tiger now, and he's special. Minnesota would agree with that. Here's Scott Connell's favorite player, Luke Northweather, a 3-pointer for the transfer from Oklahoma. There was a foul on that play, so Mizzou kept the ball, and Mitchell will get the bucket and won. Mitchell had 18 points. Mizzou got an offensive rebound on the free throw and kept the ball, so Jacob Cruz made it an 8-point trip down the floor. He had 14. The Tigers had a 21-1 run, and they coast 83-60. So I know it's been a brutal beginning for the Blues, but I want you to think about this. They're only 4 points out of a playoff spot. That's just 2 wins, and they've only played 20% of the season. I mean, if Jordan Binnington becomes Jordan Binnington again like he did last night against Calgary, and there's no reason to believe he won't, and if you are getting off to good starts like they did last night, maybe they will be just fine. Maybe. The coach was optimistic today after practice.
I do feel like we're close as a team to becoming a good hockey team. You know, we're real close, I feel. We're doing a much better job consistently. We're protecting the middle of the ice. We're not giving up the blue line as much. We're breaking pucks out better because of that.
Brad Beal is one of the greatest basketball players to ever come from this town, and his season is over. The 32-year-old Chaminade grad suffered a fracture in his hip. He's a 3-time All-Star who signed this offseason with the Clippers. He dedicates his summers to helping basketball players in the area get scholarships with his Bradley Beal Elite AAU team. Let's head to Herman Stadium. The #1 seed, SLU Billikens, hosting Davidson in the A10 semifinals. They played soccer for about 2 hours. It came down to 1 kick. Quentin Blair scores it, SLU wins it 1-0, and they host a title game Sunday at noon. To Lindenwood for the OVC semifinals, the Lions hosting SIUE. Ethan Blake, great trap, pauses, and then gets the goal, 1-0 Lions. And later, the OVC Forward of the Year, the Italian Stallion, Luca Bartoni with a wonderful goal. Lindenwood goes on to win it 2-0. So it was National Signing Day all over town today. One of our stops was De Smet, where 4 young men got to live out a dream. 2 basketball standouts, Jordan Boyd going to Northern Iowa, and Ian Thomas will be headed to Indiana State. It took about 5 seconds to sign that national letter of intent and about 10 years of hard work to get there.
And years of hard work got me here. I mean, honestly, if you asked me if I was going to sit down and sign this about 10 years ago, I don't know if I could tell you I would have been, but years of hard work, people like my family just putting in time with me, my mom, just countless hours of effort.
It took a lot. I've had great coaches, a great supporting cast. Everybody here now has meant the world to me.
And over at East St. Louis, Jamison White, who transferred from Chaminade, signed on the dotted line to play basketball at Penn State. The 6'8" forward is the son of former NBA player Jahidi White. And Jamison knows Dad played a big role in getting him to this special day.
Man, a lot, probably half it was, the coaches and the trainers, the other half was probably him. Just throughout the whole process, he's been there. Anytime I need to go in the gym and get something to work on, he's there. Even sometimes he's the one, getting me in the gym. So, without him, I don't think this, right here happens.
And that will do it in sports.
All right, thanks, Frank. An end of an era. The U.S. is no longer making sense. Why our country is not being left penniless. I'm going to update you on breaking news we brought you at the top of this newscast. Right now, there's a large police presence at the Love's Travel Stop in North Broadway and Cary in North St. Louis. There were reports of shots fired. We are working to get more information from police on how many people were shot and what led to the gunfire. We'll bring you any overnight developments on the 5 on Your Side news app and on Today in St. Louis starting at 5 a.m.
The U.S. Mint has produced its last penny. The final 1-cent coins came off the presses in Philadelphia today. President Trump ordered to stop making pennies because they cost about 4 cents to make. The U.S. Treasury says pennies will remain a legal tender with more than 300 billion still in circulation.
Some tiny totes are causing a big frenzy at Trader Joe's. For a limited time, the grocery store chain is selling the micro canvas totes, which come with a grocery bag inside. The totes are big enough for your keys or spare change, some of those pennies. Some suggest they make a perfect Christmas tree ornament. The $3 bags come in blue, green, or red.
And there you have it, 5 on Your Side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 5 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.